This is the State of the Fan Address, episode 315, titled 2025 Devils Training Camp Has Begun. I'm your host, Sam Wu, here with PucksandPitchforks.com's editor-in-chief, Nick Villano. Streaming live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, X Live, and Twitch on the Let's Go Devils Network. Coming to you live from the Primetime Radio Studios in undisclosed locations, North and South Jersey, inside the bunker. As training camp has started, there was a presser, and all I have to say to you, Nick, is take me out to the ball game. Softball questions galore. I'll let you take over because I got texts and I was wondering why, because I was actually at Costco in Flemington because I just looked at my Twitter account or X account that people were wondering where you get all the Devils merch, which Costco. It's actually in Flemington, New Jersey. And, I posted it out there. I'm now responding. I should probably respond on X, but I kind of got bits and pieces of that press conference. But let me tell you, Nick, the podium is yours because I know it's still baseball season or whatever, but that was just like, come on.
I just wish there were some follow-up questions. They asked the right questions on the right topics, but they just took all of his answers at face value. And, I'm sorry, but, Fitzgerald failed this offseason. I've been nice about this, and I've been giving him the benefit of the doubt. I'm saying, no, listen, we got to, give this time. He's setting X, Y, and Z up. He's putting this team in a position to win. But that was all predicated on you get Luke Hughes signed long-term. And you didn't do it by training camp. You're a failure. You failed. And it might work out. Sam, it might work out. Luke Hughes missed training camp last year, and he eventually got going, and he missed the first month of the season. He did fine. It was his best season, but I think it was better than people were giving it credit for. This is supposed to be the year where Luke Hughes gets into that top 10 defenseman conversation. And if he doesn't get into it this year, or at least close, now you're looking at more of a top 20 guy for the rest of his career, and not a guy who's going to get up to that Quinn Hughes, Cal McCarr, Adam Fox, Rasmus Dahlin conversation, right? This is the year he's supposed to take the step if he's going to get there. And you have to know that. And maybe he's using that as leverage. But, when you come in and say, I'm paraphrasing, but to the effect of, we're upset that it's not done, and Luke's upset that it's not done.
Well, whose fault is that?
Sam, I've seen guys walk up to a baseball card table and do a $150,000 deal in 4 minutes. Do I need to get King of Cards out here just shouting out random YouTube pages that I want? Do you need to get these dozens of huge negotiations? You got hostage negotiators who save people's lives in 30 minutes. You can't get a contract done with the guy whose star player is his brother. Again, I've defended this because I said we got to be patient. We got to be patient. That patience was not rewarded because he didn't get the job done. And they asked one question on it and took his answer at face value. Nobody said, well, what's the holdup? Is it money? Is it term? Ryan Novosinski had the report that said, and maybe I missed this in the press conference, and I apologize if I did. Somebody can hold my feet to the fire. But Ryan Novosinski had the report that Luke Hughes was looking for 5 years. I don't I don't understand what, like, here's what I'll say. Tom Fitzgerald had one of the better starts that a GM could possibly have. The Luke Hughes deal was insanely good. The Jesper Bratt deal was insanely good. All of his trades were really working out those first couple of years. He took a couple chances. Some worked, some didn't. You know, he was really, but he was changing the culture. He did a lot of really good things. Since the Timo Meier trade, which I still think is a win, I haven't seen this man go after something that's either not a clear win or just giving up on a player. Right? You didn't win the Tice Thompson trade, but neither did the Islanders. You didn't win the Riley Walsh trade, but neither did. I mean, honestly, they might have won that Riley Walsh trade. But, like, you know what I mean? Like, he's or, like, you didn't win the Pavel Zacha trade, but they were just kind of trying to change some things up. And honestly, like, it wasn't as big of a loss as people think, because Hollow was good in the year they made the playoffs and won the round. I think this man is trying to win. And there are certain times where you just have to be like, it might look like an L, but this is what my team needs. And I think of that with, you know, and again, there's some bad luck in this, but I think of how long the team looked terrible last year, and he didn't get the deals done until the deadline day. And this team needed help in February. And, you know, and I get it. I get it that, like, that's how business has been working. These things go down to the wire. And he said that in an interview with, I think, RG. It's like, oh, this is kind of how these things... No! They don't have to go like that. You got Jack Hughes signed a year early, or whatever, 9-10 months early. You know, there was always a kick. It's like, oh, we'll wait till, you know, we haven't really started talking yet. We'll talk after the new year. We haven't really, like, got it set that we'll talk after the, you know, the Memorial Day weekend. It's like, we're going to give it the 4th of July holiday, but this is my number one priority. And I've celebrated 4th of July. I've celebrated Labor Day. I've celebrated my birthday. I've celebrated all these things that Luke Hughes has not signed. And Pierre LeBrun is Fitzgerald's guy. I trust everything that Pierre LeBrun puts out because it's Fitzgerald's guy. I think it's coming from Fitz. Maybe it's not, but that's how I take it. So when Pierre LeBrun comes out this week and be like, yeah, they're going to get the Luke Hughes thing done. It's going to be long-term. Great. This is fantastic. I thought that it was imminent. And then you come out today and be like, you know, he's not happy. We're not happy. That tells me you're not close. Or maybe not that it's not close, but, like, you're not imminent. And it needs to be imminent. Like, you can't miss any more training camp. What is the holdup? Is the holdup that he wants $10 million a year? If he's willing to sign for 8 years, $10 million, give it to him. Wonder why, Sam? Because then it ends this conversation. It ends the conversation about Jack Hughes leaving in 5 years. It shuts Paul Bissonnette up with that nonsense bait report that meant nothing. That now people are writing.
I hate it when they do that. Spit and check.
The fact that people wrote about that. Listen, I write about bait. I clearly in the headlines say, this is bait. This is stupid. Don't be stupid. Don't be stupid and listen to this report. I might write that. Don't be stupid and listen to this report. I might write that tonight just because it's annoying. Anyway,
they do that to Devils fans all the time. The whole.
But if you had him signed to an 8-year deal, there's no leg to stand on.
Yeah.
Or even a 7-year deal. If that's the breaking point. But the fact that this isn't signed and the fact that Vancouver is hemorrhaging media reports about Quinn Hughes and just they're putting their name and face to saying, like, yeah, he wants to play with his brothers. We got to figure something out. Like, that conversation, you just have to be like, We don't have the leverage, but we could get it back. Here's the thing: you don't have leverage with Luke Hughes, but if you settle the Luke Hughes, you get the leverage on Jack. Because I don't think Jack's going to wait till what's Jack 24?
I think he's 23.
Maybe he turns 24 this season. Either way, I don't think Jack's going to wait till his mid-30s to get the three brothers together. I don't. So I don't think Quinn's going to sign in Detroit for 3 years, and then he's going to connect with Jack Hughes, and they're going to wait another 3 years to play with Luke. I don't think that's going to happen. I think what's going to happen is Quinn's going to come here, and then you're going to have the three Hughes brothers for the middle to end of their primes, and that probably means a Stanley Cup. I don't want to go overboard on it.
Mm-hmm.
But those are three, theoretically they should be three of the best players in the league in their prime. If you got Jack Hughes signed to 8, you get Quinn Hughes signed to 12, and you got Luke Hughes signed to 10. So what if you overpaid Luke? So what? Just get it done. It's insane. It is insane that they didn't get this done. It is insane that they don't sound like they're close. It's insane, Sam. If we wake up tomorrow morning, we still don't have a Luke Hughes contract. You're really putting yourself on the hot seat if you're Fitz.
I was wrong
because I have some other stuff, but I want you to respond to that.
I was wrong about the whole thing because I thought for sure this deal was done and it's just the Devils' PR, just playing the fans during the offseason, and then as soon as training camp comes, Luke is in camp, 8-year deal, whatever, 5 years, whatever the deal is, it would have been great.
I thought they might announce it on his birthday,
or something like that. Yeah, I thought it was going to be something corny like that. But when I saw that roster come out, and I don't see a number 43 on defense, Luke Hughes, I was like, uh-oh. Then we saw the strategic post or tweet from Pierre LeBrun around that time that they're making progress, but they're not there yet. But I'm with you, Nick. I don't think that just by logic, I don't think they're close. I think they've got some kind of framework in, some common ground. But the longer this drags, it's not going to end up well. And hopefully this doesn't have any collateral damage when it comes to Jack Hughes or Quinn.
And it doesn't sound like it will, but if it goes into the season, then it will.
Look, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. If Luke Hughes is not in the lineup, or he misses training camp, misses every preseason game, and he's coming in cold on Game 1, October 9th, against the Carolina Hurricanes, and he gets hurt, I'm making up fictitious scenarios, but the optics don't look good right now, and I'm kind of pissed about it as well.
And this was a much more prevalent situation back in the 80s and 90s. Do you remember Sean Burke skipping an entire season?
Mm-hmm.
This isn't unprecedented. It's just unprecedented today, right? And back then they were fighting for nickels and dimes. Now they're it's a couple extra $1 million, but the difference between back then and now is this is the greatest investment in America is sports teams. You get $4 and $5 back for every dollar you put in. They always go up. They are shooting to the moon. Josh Harris and David Blitzer have tenfold their investment, right? You just moved the decimal point. I think this what they spent $340 million, something like $347 million.
Most of it was
to buy
just
the
debt.
Devils.
It was paying off debt. You know,
Yeah.
it was basically paying off the debt of the team, hitting the hard reset button. I mean, the amount of money that the cash flow through all the events outside of New Jersey Devils
That's what I'm saying.
hockey.
Between the Prudential
Yeah.
Center and the Devils, I think they're worth $3.5 billion. I think the arena.
I don't think it's that high. I would say
The
1.5
Devils are
at
worth $2 billion.
most.
The team itself is worth $2 billion.
Is it really? Did it go up that fast?
Yeah. It's crazy.
Inflation. I'll blame inflation.
But that's what the problem is that these assets have been bought up by people who don't want to sell them. So now they don't go for sale anymore. You know, you could buy a team like once a year. It felt like a team was going for sale.
Yep.
And we'll get a really good because I think you can argue that the Devils and the Penguins are worth very similar in their current state. Because I think the Penguins are going to lose Crosby, or at least that's like the conversation. But let's say it's $2.5 billion. They spent $340 million to get a $2.5 billion team in less than 20 years. And every team is like that. Every team was $1 billion 5 years ago. Now it's $2 billion. You know, like the Utah team is worth over $1 billion. I think. You know, like you're looking at teams that are in small markets that are worth an arm and a leg. You know, this Atlanta team. I think they're going to get $1.5 billion as a expansion fee. So, like, spare me with the money part. This is why I'm mad, Sam. Because like, why didn't anybody ask? Like, what's holding it up? I don't understand, and I wasn't there. And I'm going to be at press conferences this year. So I'm going to have opportunities. You know, I don't think I'll be able to go to a fit swap. They're like in the middle of the day, have a job. It is what it is. But, so I can, you know, so you can hold my feet to the fire when I ask a softball question. But I just don't understand how, because Fitz will talk. That's the thing. He will talk. He will, and he'll tell you. But if you give him an opportunity to give him an NHL level answer, he'll give it. But if you press him, he'll talk. So that's all I got on Luke Hughes. It's pathetic that we're here, and I hate using that word. People get mad when I use that word, but I'm gonna use it right now because it is. This team is better than this. This front office is better than this. But I think they won too many deals. And that sounds insane to say, but it's true. You got so used to it's like a guy in fantasy football who somebody traded him Jamar Chase for Devontae Adams in a first-round pick. I'm like, well, every trade should be like this. So I'm not making any trades unless you match Devontae Adams in the first-round pick for Jamar Chase. But then you're never going to get a trade done. And I think that happened with the top 6 last year. I think that happened with the top 6 this offseason. I think that happened with the goalie 2 years ago. I think that happened with, you know, I will say he got his guy in Sheldon Keefe. That's the guy he wanted, the number one guy. And he talked him out of taking a year off and getting paid for it. So I give him credit there. That was the one big move he made, and I like it. I love Sheldon Keefe as a coach here. The guys really like him, but man, like this is now 3 years in a row where the Devils have needed their GM to really hit it out of the park, and he's getting singles. And he's getting singles because he's waiting. And the market is dictating that, but sometimes, and he did this with Markstrom, sometimes you just have to overpay. He did overpay for Markstrom, and it was a good deal. He overpaid from a position of power because they were signing Pesce and Dillon, so you could trade Ball on top of the first-round pick. But I don't know. Like if I'm Fitz, and like a lot of like I'm looking at just the roster, and he invested so much on the defense that now you have too many defensemen, and you got Silyev, who's still coming. And that was a mistake because you should have taken Zeke Boyum, but that's fine. That draft fell in the strangest way. So I'll give him credit there. But I still like Celia. But again, you have Celia here. You have all these guys on long-term contracts who are veterans. And, I just look at it. And the other part is that, they didn't trade for a top 6 forward this offseason. And I don't think anyone was available. So, again, I've been trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. Be like, well, who got traded that you wanted? There were a couple, but not a lot. So I was like, okay, it takes 2 to tango, whatever. He's waiting for the middle of the season. But now you lost Stefan Nason. And, again, nobody followed up to ask, well, how long is he out? Unless I didn't hear it. And if I didn't hear it, I apologize. It's when you listen to it on YouTube, you miss some things. So if somebody asked it and he just ignored it, or he didn't answer it correctly, or he answered it.
I'm going to ask AI right now.
He had a procedure done. What is that? Is a procedure surgery? I assume so. And he was very open about Johnny Kovacevic. But, Sam, I wrote an article last month. It said Johnny Kovacevic is going to be out till January. And I have everybody in my comments be like, well, we knew that. No, we didn't. No, we didn't. I have not seen anyone say he is out till January. Sam, have you seen anybody talking about that? Him being out till January besides me? I've been saying on this podcast.
You're the one that actually, when I tell friends that, they're like, really? I didn't realize that. By the way, AI is telling me that he is missed some time in the opening weeks of the season due to aggravated groin injury. That's according to AI.
He had a groin injury last season.
Yeah.
Aggravated during training sometime.
News was announced after the second day of training camp.
I will say, and I don't want to speculate, but I'm going to a little. Fitz sounded kind of annoyed. Said he made a personal decision to get it taken care of. Weird wording there, right? It's like, or you say, I think he said something effective, like, you don't love when it happens this late. Something like that. That's not the quote. Don't quote me. He said something a little bit different like that, but that was the essence of what he said. Don't love when that it's this late in the off season. And maybe I'm reading too much into it, and he just means the timing sucks. But that some people are like, well, maybe he'll be back before the. I don't think you even hear about this like this. I think if he was going to be back sometime in the preseason, I think just Nason's out with a groin injury. We expect him back before the start of the season. I think he's out. I don't know if he's out for a month. I don't know if he's out for the first 2 or 3 weeks. I don't know if he's out till December. I don't love how long was Palat out when he got his groin surgery? 3 months?
A while. Yeah, 3 months.
And he's still isn't the same today. That was 3 years ago. That groin injury messed Palat up. Now you're looking at where. Now I'm worried because before you had options, you had all these options. You could try this in the top 6. You could try that in the top 6. I didn't love those options. They weren't ideal options. I would have rather had a Jason Robertson or a Jordan Kyrou or a Mitch Marner or whoever Nicolas Ehlers. I would have loved to have one of those in the top 6. Actually, I didn't really love Ehlers, to be honest. But again, I would have just loved to have a true top 6 forward. So you at least had 5. You have 5 top 6 forwards. Right now you have 4. Without a doubt, top 6 forwards. Problem is with Timo Meier doesn't play like a top 6 forward all year. You need him to play like a top 6 forward all year this year. There's no excuse of being you just got to wait till March. No, he needs to be the guy from the start or they might miss the playoffs. And I'm not trying to I think the Devils are going to make the playoffs simply because the Metro stinks. Metropolitan Division stinks. The Devils are the second best team in the league, and in that division, on paper, they didn't do anything. this offseason besides, upgrade the bottom six. And I like the moves that Fitzgerald made in the bottom six. I like Connor Brown. Really good player. Really smart. You gave him the right contract. It's maybe a slight overpay, but I think he's the right player at the right time. I like Dadanoff a lot. I like convincing Gritsik to be here and getting him in the starting lineup right away. I like LeChance. This kid looks like they might have hit a home run with this. This kid looks good. This kid looks like an NHL player. Looked really good in the prospect challenge. He got, that came out today that him and Haminaho, the two guys who might fight for spots with Nason out, got injured in the prospect challenge. Like, it's the luck of this team is insane. The luck of this team is insane, but beyond that, and that's always been my excuse for Fitz. But the Luke Hughes negotiation is not luck. The not getting a top six forward is, you could have forced the issue. And again, I think you're going to go back to that Nashville well. I think Nashville's going to stink again. And you're going to go to Nashville and be like, you got these three guys, Ryan O'Reilly, Steven Stamkos, Jonathan Marchessault, who aren't worth anything to you. Stop putting insane prices on them. And let's make a deal. I think Marchessault wants a similar tax situation, so he might be off the table. But, maybe you can get Stamkos to reinvigorate his career here. But really, like, the number one guy on my list to get would be Ryan O'Reilly. But again, that's not the point. The point is that right now you're playing a game where you have Dadanoff, who's on a $1 million contract, solidly in your top six, and I don't know who else could go there. Because the person who I think could go there is in the other top six winger position. That's Dawson Mercer. I think Mercer is going to be in the top six. I think him being the third line center is out the door with Nason hurt. I just think that's what it is. I think the competition you're looking at is, are you going to keep Lamico? I think is how you say, Yuo Lamico. Are you going to keep him as your fourth line guy? Because we got the lines today, and they're interesting. I like them for what it is. I don't love that Dadanoff has to be next to Hughes, and I don't love that Mercer is the guy not next to Hughes but in the top six. I just haven't loved that Meyer-Mercer connection. I think that he makes more sense with Hughes, but I trust Keefe to kind of figure that out. I like how he, I kind of wish and again, it's early, so this might happen. I kind of wish they switched Gritsik with Palat, because Palat is playing with Cody Glass and Connor Brown. I think Gritsik would do really well on that line. And I just don't love Gritsik in that fourth line role. I think if you're going to do that, here's what I would do. You have options if you're the Devils. Ideally, I'd like Gritsik to be on the third line or above. So flip Palat and Gritsik, and then I think this is a really good lineup. If you're not, instead of putting him on the fourth line, say you're going to the AHL for 1 month. I will call you on November 1st to bring you back. Play first line minutes in the AHL and dominate down there. So I want you to score 10 goals in October. Go dominate that league because you can. And then I'll call you up. And then put Hallinan on the fourth line because I think Hallinan makes more sense as a fourth line scorer than Gritsik. I don't think Gritsik's going to do well with 10 minutes tonight. I think Hallinan will make the most of his minutes. So these are just the things. It's the first day of camp. A lot of things are going to happen. It's going to change before the first preseason game, and then it'll change to the third preseason game. There's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot still needs to be decided on. I came in today wanting to be optimistic about the season and wanting to be excited about hockey being back. I wanted to. I really, 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 really wanted to. In that press conference and what he said about Luke was like, oh, we're not close. How? How did we get to a place where we're not close? And it just kind of like bubble. I turned into a doomer. Say, I'm a doomer now.
You're a doomer?
I'm a doomer.
Oh. Trying to keep it positive, Nick. We're only 2 days in.
Listen. We have Don LaGreca's our play-by-play guy. I've been saying that I had to bring in my inner Don LaGreca. So yeah, I had to bring that energy, bring the Don LaGreca energy.
Well, I just hope this Luke Hughes thing is not going to be a big distraction down the road. Hopefully they can wrap it up within the week.
It is a distraction every single day. They're going to get asked every day. I would ask every day if I was there.
Well, they didn't get asked today too much. I mean, if you're going to throw softball,
you knew the Fitzgerald. They were going to push the Fitzgerald, but now that Fitzgerald has spoken, every day. Why is Fitzgerald not sitting in a room with Pat Brisson? I would be at family dinner with Pat Brisson. I would be at his kid's soccer game. I would be, I would be on his investor calls. You're doing an all-hands call with your team? Tom Fitzgerald online. I'll develop a PowerPoint presentation just so I can be in your presence at all times so we can get this done. Again, unless the 5-year thing is real and we're not signing anything that's not 5 years. End of story. But again, every report says that's not true. Every single report, including Jack Hughes himself. I listened to the 32 Thoughts interview he did. And it sounds like Jack Hughes wants him to sign long term. Because when he said something to the effect of, if he signs for 8 years, that's great. Or if he said he signs for 7 or 8 years, that's great. If he signs for 3, it is what it is. That doesn't sound like a guy setting up his exit plan. But it sounds like a guy who wants to set up his family for good.
So let me ask you this. Do you think this has anything to do with it? I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not speculating it. A report came out that the RFK Stadium site, Joshua Harris, obviously owns.
I don't think it's about saving money. I don't need to cut you off, but I think it has something to do with actual cash.
That's a lot of money. Spending, $6 billion to buy the team, $1.7 billion, plus covering the cost of overruns, all that. Are they? Look,
they're not.
You said it yourself. The CFO jumped ship, went to the New York Rangers. All right, are they cutting costs? I'm just bringing it up.
He went to MSG Networks or MSG. Maybe it was he went to MSG. He didn't go to.
It's the same thing, Nick. It's a dump.
I understand, but it is a different organization. So
yeah, I know.
I don't think it has anything to do with money as far as cash.
Have you seen the prices of tickets? I mean,
they're making money.
Well, they're making money. I get it, but again, I don't want to be the fan that's funding it. That stadium. I'm just for argument's sake.
I mean, I just got to tell you, Sam. There's a salary cap, so
there's a salary cap. It doesn't mean you have to spend to it.
You'd rather them not spend to it?
No. I'm just saying. With this Luke Hughes thing, because what could be the holdup? It's got to be money.
If you want a title, you have to spend to the cap.
Spend to the cap, but of course. But do they want a title? Everybody wants a title, but nobody wants to pay for a title.
Why are you doing this if you don't want a title?
Well, I'm just throwing it out there. Because we're trying to find out what the holdup is with Luke Hughes. If it's not the years. If you go by your
I think it's the years. I mean, it has to be the years.
But you were saying that Jack said 8 years, or do the Devils don't want to give the 8 years?
Jack said things that have clearly come from the negotiation. Right, that part is right. I think the Devils are coming in saying, we'd rather just. I think the Devils are coming in here and saying, we kind of want to keep it under the $6 million number, which, again, is $7 million. They have $7 million in cap space because they could just send Curtis McDermott down and play with 22. But they at least have 6.5. If they want to play with the full 23-man roster, they have 20. They have 6.5. But again, maybe Luke is like, if we're doing 6.5, I'll only sign for a year. And then they're like, no, let's do 3 years. Well, I don't want, it sounds like the player wants the 7 or the 8. Sounds like the team is open to the 7 or the 8, but wants the price to be what should be the 3. And your fight, I get it. But this all comes down to you screwed up on the Palat deal. And he's just not worth. He was never worth 6. That was always a mistaken contract.
Can you banish him to Utica?
It would only save you $1 million.
That's it.
Mm-hmm. You could bury whatever. I think you could bury $1.15 million per contract.
It's not like the good old days.
No, you can with McGillney. You said
or Scott Gomez. Didn't Scott Gomez get banished at one point?
I don't remember. That boy, yeah, I remember it happened to McGillney. He played with the River Rats for a while. Anyway, we went on a rant. I wish I was more positive, Sam. I do. I've been trying to be positive all off season. I just had to. I had to be very straightforward. But yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah. Well, again, been getting questions all night. Where did you find all here's my hat that I got from Costco. My Devil's hat. That's one of them.
I think I've had it before.
Beanies, they have all that. It's that time of year. I love that time of year. You go to Costco and it's Devil's merch. It's always good.
Yeah, unfortunately, mine's gonna have Flyers merch, but
why don't you come up north a little bit?
I'm gonna.
Are you a Costco member?
I am.
You are.
Yeah, I love Costco.
I love Costco too.
So when the baby is angry, I just take him to Costco. Get myself a hot dog. Do some samples.
But now it's the samples that come out now are during the weekday. Weekday afternoon hours. It's never on the weekends anymore.
I know. It's too crazy. People will fight you for a hot sample.
Totally. And they get me every single time. I'm like, oh, this is great. So I buy it and then forget about it and don't eat it.
Oh, I eat it. The frozen stuff, sometimes it's hard. You forget it's there.
Yeah.
You buy a 16-pack of chicken melts. You're like, oh, this is great. This is delicious. I gotta either set up the toaster oven or turn the oven to 400 degrees in the middle of summer.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Anyway. Love the hot dog. By the way, they switched to Coke now. They're no longer with Pepsi. Yeah, they got actually a better selection. They got Minute Maid, lemonade, and all that. Anyway.
Ooh,
yeah.
Delicious. But all right. I'm going to plug if that's okay.
Go right ahead.
Okay. PucksandPitchworks.com is buzzing today. We wrote about Stefan Nason. We wrote about Johnny Kovacevic is going to be out till 2026, like I said. But we wrote about it again. Wrote about Luke Hughes. I wrote about Jack Hughes' line with Evgeny Dadonov. What do you think about that? John Bailey is going to come out with one on Simone Nemitz. We have a new guy, Ryan, who wrote about Connor Brown. I'm going to get that up in the morning. It's his first article, so go read that one. We have articles on. I gave my line predictions for both the defense and the forwards. That's on pucksandpitchforks.com right now. I'm going to have something on Jacob Markstrom either tonight or tomorrow. Just the fact that I don't think they have to be careful with the contract extension. They just have to be careful. So I will. I'm going to write about that. But there, pucksandpitchforks.com. You got articles on articles all day, all night.
Well, that's great. I have nothing to plug other than we'll be at American Whiskey for the upcoming season, as per usual. Love American Whiskey. I'm trying to convince them to put the Sam salad on the menu, where it's a nice piece of beef sprinkled with some lettuce. Devil's Heaven asked, who grew up with the home phone with the huge cord wrapped around the house? LOL. I did.
Yeah, I did.
Before cordless phones.
We're old over here. Sam's real old, but I'm old.
Oh, let me tell you, back in the day, you know those cordless phones? You go to Radio Shack, you buy a scanner, and you can listen to the entire neighborhood. Yeah, that was. Yeah. And then I remember bringing the scanner to college in the dorms, and I knew everything. I could write a gossip column.
Yeah, no, I'm old. I'm so old, Sam, that I just turned a year older.
Oh, happy birthday! Sam got my birthday no, I said happy birthday.
You were a day late.
It doesn't matter. I said happy birthday.
But you didn't even say belated, so you were unaware of the date.
No, I was aware of the date. I knew I was a day late.
Tisk. No, I'm just kidding. But I did remember yours, but it's okay.
Yeah. Now you're making me feel bad. So go to pucksandpitchforks.com then. Now you're making me feel bad.
You're going to have to click on Pucks and Pitchforks. Just click around the site like 100 times. Get me some views.
Yeah, just hit refresh all day.
Yeah. Just click around. Just keep clicking and don't even pay attention to where you're going. Just keep clicking.
Especially Nick's article on Vinny Parisi.
My article on Vinny?
No, both of your articles. You know.
Oh, I was like, I wrote an article on Vinny. I mean, listen, I've written a lot of articles. I write 50 a month. This website does 100 a month. So. Well,
I can tell you, Ted texted me earlier today and said, softball questions. The Let's Go Devils podcast needs to be at that presser.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, we're going to get out of here. Dropping the podcast at midnight. Sunday podcast. Back in action. Season 9, Nick, as we're headed towards 1 million downloads. Alrighty. So, we're going to get out of here. Till next time, let's go Devils.